So when you're scheduling conferences, Calendly can help out a lot because it will do a lot of the legwork for you, and it will collect all of the information, put it on your calendar, and really take care of the scheduling part of conferences for you. So if you go to calendly.com, you go up to click My Account in order to get this set up. Mine's already logged in there, so it goes right to my email, but you would just have to sign up, use your school email if that's what you're going to do. And you can see that I'm at my home page here. I don't have any event types yet. On the free version, I believe you get 3 event types and you can have 1 live at a time. And so if you don't have any, we can set up an event type by going to new event type. I go to one-on-one, let somebody pick a time to meet with me. This is going to be called Mr. Viss Conferences. Then click in there so you see that. Now this is where the Calendly really helps because it can do the locations for you. So I can put an in-person meeting will be B138, stop in, and I can put additional directions to check in, get and get directions before coming down. All right, so I'll put that in there so someone will see that when they click that option. Now some people are going to want a phone call, and so I'll click add location, phone call. I will call my invitee, so I am going to get their phone number and I'm going to call them at the time that the meeting starts. It will collect their phone number. And then another one you could have is a Google Meet if somebody wants to do that. You could also have that Google Meet, and it will make a Google Meet link for each meeting, and so you don't have to worry about having one Google Meet up and worrying about a parent coming in during another parent's conference. It will make a separate Google Meet, and it will tie that to the calendar invite that it sends to you and to whoever schedules the meeting. And so you've got your 3 different location types. One is in person, one's a phone call, collect their phone number, and then Google Meet where it'll make a link for you. Then you put in a little description or instructions. I typed this up before, so we were ready to go. Put it in here. Somewhat pretty-ish. There. Okay, so I've got my descriptions. Grammarly. No, we don't want to do that. Leave it the way it is. Then you've got an event link. That's fine. Pick a color you like, blue, and then go to next. Now, here's where you get to kind of customize the way you want things to show up for people. You do want to have invitees can schedule 60 calendar days in the future. That's fine. How long are the meetings going to be? 15 minutes. You can also do custom. Maybe you're going to do 20 minutes. I'm going to leave it at 15. You can really do whatever you want. Use an existing schedule. So you could put in times here. You could make a schedule if you wanted to. I'm going to do custom hours because we're not doing every day. And so I am going to go, let's see, this view. Oh, we don't want to do that. Actually, maybe we do. Let's get rid of, so we're going to get rid of all these ones because otherwise it'll offer them up from 9 to 5 every day, which you don't want. You could have specific days. So I'm going to click on a specific day and I'm going to go March 1st. I'm going to go 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. are going to be the available times. So that's when somebody will be able to pick from. So I've got my dates when I'm available. If you want to do 2 days of conferences, add 2 days in there. It'll open both up. You can really do whatever you want. If you want to do half of them on March 1st from 3:30 to 5:30, and then the other half on March 2nd from 3:30 to 5:30, that's fine. You can set those up in there, and it'll give those opportunities. Now, buffers is important to decide if you want a 5-minute buffer between conferences. So what it'll do is it'll make sure that if you schedule a conference from 3:30 to 3:45, it'll make sure that your next conference isn't until 3:50. So it'll give you that 5-minute time between it. You won't have a conference going from 3:30 to 3:45 and then 3:45 to 4 because you'll have a 5-minute buffer. I would suggest it. I think it's a good idea because you never know when they're going to go over. So you can put a buffer before the event or after event. I would just say that I need to make sure that I have 5 minutes before any conference so I can get ready for it. I think that's a good thing to do. So I think we're pretty set up here, 15 minutes. I know it's on March 1st. I have no other available times on other days of the week, so that won't be an issue. You can look through additional rules. Some of these times, available time, start time. Since I'm 15-minute meetings, I'm going to go available start times in increments of 15 minutes. All it means is if you go 5 minutes, and it's going to go 3:30, 3:35, 3:40, 3:45. It'll still keep your 15-minute times, but it'll just give way more smaller increments of when they can schedule it. Scheduling conditions, this is going to say how long before an event does somebody need to schedule their meeting. So if I have 4 hours in here, it's not going to let anybody schedule a 3:30 conference once 11:30 a.m. hits. It's going to give me 4 hours between from when they need to have scheduled it to when the conference is. So you don't get surprised by anything where somebody schedules a conference 2 minutes before the conference is supposed to start and you didn't even see it on your calendar. You're in the lounge getting some food because you didn't think you had a conference, and now all of a sudden you missed one. So the way I like to do it is schedule half an hour between an event start time. So that means that at 3 o'clock, somebody cannot schedule a 3:30 conference. They can schedule a 3:45 conference or a 4 o'clock conference, but they can't schedule one within that half an hour window before they start. And so that's a good thing to do. I like to have half an hour on there. Automatically display time zone. Doesn't need to be secret because we don't want it to be secret that we have conferences. And we should be sitting pretty good. You can add some questions. This is just saying what are they going to get asked whenever they pick their conference. So that you're going to want name, email address. You have to have that, especially if you're doing a Google Meet, because it's going to send them the link for that meet. You can also add another question, maybe your child's name, so you don't have to guess on who is going to be meeting with you. You can have whatever you want here. And you could have something else. Maybe you want to say, what is your child's current grade in this class, and make it a required question so that you know that before people come to their conferences, they're checking grades and they know where students are sitting at. You could do that as well. I'm not going to, but you definitely could if you wanted to, something else. And think of any questions that you'd want. A lot of times when I'm doing these with students, I would have them ask, or I would have them answer the question, what do you need help with today? Or what mastery check are you working on today? Or what quiz are you trying to redo when we meet today? So really good things to just kind of make sure that people are prepping for the meeting and the conference, however that looks. So we've got the questions, workflows, don't need it, notifications and cancellation policy, confirmation page, just default. Everything else should be pretty good here. You can view the live page to make sure that it's working. So this is the page that people will see when they schedule a conference. You'll get your description. You'll see it's a 15-minute meeting. You'll get the available dates. If you picked more dates, they'll all be available. And when they click on this time or this date, they're going to get all these times that show up. And so somebody can go and they can click on a 3:30 and say, that's the meeting that I want. This is what they would get. They'd get their name, email, location, and then the phone call. If they pick phone call, this is again where they're going to have to type in their number. It's going to save it for you and put it onto a calendar invite for you. And then a Google Meet, it says when web conferencing details provided upon confirmation. So once they sign up, it's going to make a Google Meet link for them. And then the other questions, they hit schedule and that's it. Now, a couple things that, or one for sure that could cause problems is if you know that you set it up right and you don't get any events showing up, where maybe your March 1st isn't there. What could be happening is a calendar issue. So you can go up to integrations on here. You can go down to make sure that your calendars are integrated correctly. So you want to make sure that your whatever email you typed in, it should be connected. It's going to check for conflicts on that email to see. So if you have something, maybe you know that you're doing, like for me, I'm doing conferences on March 1st. If I have a separate event on my calendar that says conferences from 3:30 to 7:30, Calendly is going to read that as I'm busy during that time, and it will not offer any of these times. And so nothing will show up here. And so if you're doing that, you need to go and look at the times that you are scheduling conferences for, and you need to delete your event types or your events on your calendar at that time. You could get rid of that so it's not checking for conflicts during that time. I believe you should be able to do that. But it's kind of nice. Well, it's actually important that you have it on there, I guess. Don't cancel that, because that's how it knows where not to offer a conference. So once it schedules one, it's going to add it to your calendar, and then it will check your calendar for that conflict, find it, and then it won't offer a time at a time someone else has picked. So it'll pull it off the list. So that's kind of how it takes care of that. So you got to go into your calendar and make sure that you don't have any event types or calendar events, I guess, scheduled for the time when you are trying to offer times to parents. That's one thing that happens quite a bit, at least with me, is I'll put the thing on the calendar, and then next thing you know, Calendly is not offering any event types because it says you're already busy during this time. But you should be able to see it right here. If you go to home, all you have to do is copy the link, paste this into whatever email you want, and this is what it's going to show up with. calendly.com/jvis-Mr. Vis conferences. When people click on this after you've explained the conference procedure, maybe made a little video showing them how to use it, this is what they'll come to. They'll be able to go to that homepage, sign up for conferences, and there you go. So I hope that helps with how to use Calendly. Hopefully it saves a lot of time and some headaches with scheduling conferences. I don't know, let me know if you have any questions.